All right, we're live. Welcome back to Millennial Motivate Podcast. Can you guys hear us? Can everyone hear us? Let's see. Can you guys hear us? And then we'll get started. Let's see what they say. Get it going. We can hear. All right. Perfect. Welcome back to our Millennial Motivate Podcast. This is our second episode. We are super excited to continue doing this and keep building the community and motivate thousands, us young entrepreneurs, us entrepreneurs that are extremely successful, to show us young entrepreneurs that we can make it happen. So that brings me to my point. We have a special guest today of Zack Kepes, who owns over 200 rentals across the valley here in Arizona. And we're super excited to have him. Welcome, Zack. Thank you for joining us.
Boys, thanks for having me. Great to see you.
Awesome. So, I kind of want to get into how you got into real estate in the first place.
Sure. Great question. First, thanks for having me on the podcast. I love and admire you two young hustlers doing great things. I love being involved with you guys, the future of this business right here, which is awesome. So it's a hustler business. It's a young man, young women's business altogether. So I commend you on your efforts and starting so young. I started at 21 in this business, so you're already a couple years ahead of me. So congratulations on that initiative. I came out to Arizona in 2002, so I've been in this business 18 plus years. I've done thousands of flips and own over 200 doors currently. Started all with one deal at a time. I had cousins and family in St. Louis that were in the business. Had an opportunity to come out to Arizona and be what's called the human capital portion of that business. So that I had capital. I was human capital, went out, got my license in 9 days, start hitting the ground running and look for opportunities, one deal, one property at a time. It's a relationship-based business. Didn't know anybody out here and just cultivate, again, houses and relationships, one person, one property, one deal at a time. So it's been a crazy run. Been through, difficult markets, trials and tribulations. We can get into all that, but it's the best business in the world, hands down. We're in the right place, that's for sure. And there's an abundance of opportunity for everybody to do well in this business.
Awesome. Well, I want to dive in on one of those things. You said you got your license in 9 days? 9
That's
days.
Correct, yeah.
That's crazy. How'd you even do that?
Well, right now you can get your license via Zoom because it's different with the pandemic. But back in 2002, you could just do the crash courses where you take 9 hours per day essentially and just go there all week. So I fulfilled all the hour regulations and the time frame and passed the school test and immediately took the state test and passed and was off running. I think if you're going to do something, always go all in as quickly as possible. And if you delay something like that, a lot of people say, I'm going to get my license this year, and you do a class and you wait a month. You want that information to be, top of mind. And really just
100%
engulf yourself in the information, so it's in the forefront of your mind, way easier to pass the test, and just It's right there, ready to go to execute.
And Zack, you mentioned one thing too as well. You mentioned this is a relationship business, and that's truly a fact that it is a relationship business. What is something you look for? Your relationships, whether it's with a private lender, whether it's with a real estate agent, a wholesaler. What is something some of those core values you say that you look into relationships?
Sure. I want to do business with good people, right? I mean, it's a big business, but it's a small world. You don't want to be that person. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I know you mentioned before your first deal took you 8 months. Again, it's about water. It's about planting your seeds. It's about, watering your plants and cultivating your land, cultivating relationships. I want to do business with people, A, that are fun, 2, that are transparent and honest. They're always about the win-win, right? Anyone can make a deal and you screw somebody over and then that disseminates around. There's a reason why I've been in this business for the long haul. It's about running a good, clean, transparent business where all parties come out of the deal and they're happy. That's the goal of every
and I think that's
right.
One of the reasons why I've sold you. I think you might be the person I've sold most of my deals to, the most deals to, and it's because you're a good person. I like doing business with good people. I've seen my dad do business with bad people, and it shows me to stay far away from anyone that's bad. And you're for sure a good person. I feel like family to you, and you made that bond very quickly on, and it's been amazing to know you and learn from you. And so that's I'm excited to learn and dive more into what you do exactly, because we're busy people, right? When I'm talking to you, we don't have time to just go on for hours, right? So now we got you for an hour, and I'm excited to learn. So that's amazing. Another thing that I wanted to dive into is, what were you doing before real estate? Did you go to college, and then what did you do?
Stocks. You were mentioning stocks, right?
So, growing up, most kids, I was always an entrepreneur. Like, where you guys have multiple companies, you do skip tracing, you have VAs, you guys have different things going on, and I love it. So as a kid, I would collect pop cans. I lived in Michigan. You get 10 cents per can. I go to football games, collect the cans, and make money. I'd shovel driveways. I had a bagel delivery business. You're always looking at ways, trading baseball cards. As a kid, I was blessed that I was socialized in an environment where there was entrepreneurs in my family. My dad had a law firm. My grandfather was a developer. Everyone kind of ran their own business. My other grandfather had a scrap business. So to be socialized, I felt was extremely advantageous to see that I didn't want to work for anybody, but I want to run my own business. And every morning I'd wake up with my dad, and we'd look at the stock market and look at the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, and I memorize ticker symbols. So I had internships. So I did go to college. I went to the Kelley School of Business, which I thought is great, gives you a good background. But there's nothing better than delving in. I know we're talking about your college, Jacob, and you're like, are you kidding me? I'm crushing real estate. I'm not going to school. This is my school. I totally respect that. No one asks me when I'm buying a deal, Zach, what was your grade point average in college or high school? Was I valedictorian? Nobody cares. I'm one for rolling up the sleeves and getting your education by being in the streets. Certainly is, again, advantageous to have a business background, and I got some great relationships out of that. But yes, I went to business school. I worked on Wall Street, had some internships. I worked for a private label, Tangerine Records, which is a division of Sony Records in New York, to help them raise capital and funding for some of their projects. So rubbed elbows with some influential people. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to do my own thing, and that's where I'm at.
Awesome. So Zach, how many flips are you doing a month? I know you do, you're doing some of the more flips than almost anyone in town at a given time. So how many flips are you doing a month?
You just sold them one, correct?
Yeah, two on the same street, literally around the corner.
Those are two, and I just bought another one from you yesterday. We're open escrow on today in Sun City. So we're active. A lot of people talk, they say they're in business, but we actually do deals together. So again, I appreciate and value our relationship. One thing that stood out before, and one thing we can give to the listeners, is if you take the mindset and you said, how do what are things you look for in a relationship? If you treat people like family, authentically and legitimately, and value that friendship, again, you use the terminology, how would you treat your mom in a deal, or your sister, your brother, anyone that's close to you? That's all you need to do. I treat my tenants, I treat all my relationships like family. You take good care of them, and in return, they're going to take good care of you. So when Jacob calls me, or Leo calls me on the phone, you get my undivided attention. I like FaceTiming. I like that personalization. It's not just a voice. It's not just a money opportunity. And I say to them, and I said it to Jacob, I say it to Leo and anyone else, how can I give to you guys? How can I help grow and expand your business? One deal means nothing to me. I could care less. It doesn't mean literally anything from a litmus test. I want to build long-term strategic relationships that's mutually beneficial to help you guys grow your business. And obviously I can get, deals as well, and we can scratch each other.
I see you playing basketball for rent with your tenant's son, and them inviting you for food and stuff like that. And so you're literally the best landlord on planet Earth, and I don't know how you do it. It's crazy.
I strive to be. I have a personal relationship with all my tenants. It's very important to me. What's unique about me is I'm vertically integrated, meaning I don't outsource my management, because again, I value those relationships with my tenants. If there's an issue, they can call me, they can call my handyman. It's not people freak out over a call or an AC. Again, you have to treat it like a stock market. As long as 95% of your stocks are doing good, or 90, and you have 10 bad ones, you put it in perspective. I know, I love Leo's perspective. For those who haven't heard, he lived out of his car. He says, hey, I've been to foreign countries where my car is better than the streets. So everything's relative, but it's, hey, do you embrace some sort of negativity, or do you deflect it? And part of my strategies is, why I think I'm pretty successful, is I don't take anything, personally or emotionally, right? If someone calls me on an issue, it's how can I solve it? It's not, oh my God, I have to spend money. I think you spend money to make money. I have a strong mindset. I'm a huge advocate for physical fitness and working out, where I like to deflect anything negative and embrace the positivity, and let that kind of, permeate the relationships.
100%.
Let me ask you, Zach, what is your what does the daily routine look like for you every single day? What's your daily routine look like? Because I know you mentioned working out. So I'm pretty sure that's added in there, correct? And you also are a big fan of David Goggins. We were talking about
We were talking about that before too. Love Goggins. He's a beast. I mentioned him on my other podcast. But I always like to set the tone, start the day positively. I have a tendency, I wake up at 7:30 or 8. There's people that wake up at 4 in the morning. It doesn't matter. But I actually stay up really late to underwrite deals. So one of my strategies when things are quiet, like anyone could call me in advance a wholesaler, one of my strategies is being a good buyer is the respect and the transparency and the trust that the wholesalers have with me. They will call me even before a deal is locked up. I will spend hours the night before underwriting deals and giving numbers on those properties to help them acquire the asset. So it gives them more or less a basis of where I'm comfortable buying based on the information that we have. A lot of times they haven't been in the home yet, or maybe some preliminary pictures, and we can go through underwriting and say, this is where I'm going to be. And that's very helpful. So I can take those hours and work late where, again, it's quiet. You always want a good mindset when you're underwriting deals. Again, you're not ordering a pizza or a Big Mac where you're worrying about $5 or $10. You throw it out. Big money's on the line, 6 figures, sometimes 7 figures. You always want to bring your best, foot forward. Make sure your underwriting is intact and give solid numbers that you could stand by to support the wholesaler relationship. So I have a tendency to stay up late, sleeping a little later than most, 7:30 or 8. Get up, have a very healthy breakfast, walk my dog, kind of set the tone and the intentions for the day, and then work out for a minimum an hour and a half in the morning. Whatever that may be, a swim, a run. I come from an Ironman triathlon background, but I like to just beat up my body, keep a healthy mindset, and let that project through the day. I think that carries you, that positivity, that energy, and then just get after it,
So what does your team look like, Zach? I know you don't have that many people, right? Because you want to keep these personal relationships with each and every one of your tenants. So what does your team look like?
Yeah, I like the word team. It's funny when I go in for banking and I'm speaking to presidents of banks, you're like, where's your commercial space? How many people work for you and all this stuff? It's funny. I said, I work out of my Prius. I work out of my house. I don't believe you have to have massive amount of overhead in deals. In fact, I spend zero money per month in terms of deal acquisitions, which is a fact. I used to spend money to go after, homeowners directly, $50,000, $60,000 a month back in the heyday. But after cultivating amazing relationships, I believe in what's called reverse marketing. Go after the people like you guys that get the deals. And in return, I want to be your number one buyer, can pick and choose based on what I call my buy box. So I stay within my core competency on what I like to buy. And that's the deal. So long story short, I have a full-time handyman. I have a weekend handyman. I have a bookkeeper and an assistant. And I run 6 crews full-time. You asked me before how many I like to fix and flip. I like to do 8 to 10 deals a month, ideally. Fix and flip or buy and hold, it doesn't matter. It depends on what the exit strategy is. So the goal is to flip or hold an additional 100 homes a year. And that's kind of what I've been doing consistently.
And at the moment, what are you at right now for rentals that you actually hold at the moment?
Over 200 doors. Yeah, I think 207, 208. Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. So like I ask you this, I've asked you this multiple times when I see you, when I'm selling you a deal or whatever it is. How do you have this capacity? Like your office is around town. Your office is the field. You're running around all day. You're keeping relationships with all these people, the people that bring you the deals, the 200 tenants, right? And it's just crazy. What built you to be able to work this hard? And
it's not the fact, look, we all work hard. We're all hustlers. I think I work smart. I think I don't overcomplicate the business. People think you need all these systems and databases. I think people overcomplicate this business. As I said before, and I'll pull back to it, this is a relationship business. If you have good relationships, if you build a good quality, durable product, I mitigate a lot of calls from tenants. I spend more money than most on my remodels because, again, I hold them for a long-term, what I call annuity of income. I'm investing in the future, but I'm investing now to mitigate the call. So I have a long-term annuity of income from those deals. And if I end up flipping them and have a higher quality product, I have a good reputation with agents and buyers. They know that, it's a Zack Ventures home. The guy's not putting lipstick on stuff. If any of you guys have seen my remodel, which you've been out to, you're like, oh my God. I always invite, and I make the wholesalers look good if I'm out there interfacing with the sellers. And Jacob's been with me many times, said, come back and check on the house. You won't even believe it. They're like, wow, this is amazing. And they love that. And they feel good about selling to you guys as a wholesaler, but I'm also a representation and an extension of you guys. So it's important to always represent and never streamline. Now there's so many opportunities where I go out and pick up keys from someone and they're like, oh, we have another property. And most people say, great, call me. I'm going to buy that house, right? That's the normal reaction. But the right reaction, what you do is, because you received that deal through that wholesaler, is you redivert them back to where it was derived from. Say, please call Jacob, if you have any other deals, and we'd be happy to work with you. You never want to step on toes. You always want to remember where, who's
right. We just had a situation like that with the 2 houses I sold you around the corner from each other. One, the lady wanted to come back to grab a fridge after close of escrow, so she would have to meet you, right? But regardless, I let her give you the key, right? So you're an extension of my company, right? And then around the corner, this guy is going to sell me another house, and he lives across the street from the house that I sold you. So you could easily go and make a relationship with that guy, but you wouldn't. You'd let me contract it and sell you the other house. And so that's what's amazing.
Because I value and respect the relationship. People who are short-sighted or have that sprint mentality would say, oh, just call me. You don't have to worry about calling the wholesaler. Right. But that's the wrong move. You're going to appreciate and respect, know that you don't have to babysit me to go out to a property or interface with your sellers and think that I'm going to, redo another deal or poach it. That's a level of trust and respect that you want with all your relationships. So then again, they're confident in your ability to represent yourself as well as represent your companies. That's the goal.
Relationships are worth more than a deal. These relationships are worth 6 figures. I've made 6 figures from you this year in assignment fees. So,
Absolutely.
Relationships is so important. On our last podcast, Leo, we talked about how we stepped out of our comfort zone to build relationships with all these big players in town because, we're young. We have to be able to learn from the people that are older and experienced in order for us to be successful and hopefully be even more successful. And those people we're learning from would want to see that because they helped build who we are. And so you guys got to step out of your comfort zone, build relationships, talk to people, right? And it will change the game for you. You'll make way more money. If you could meet Zack and build a relationship and get good deals, like I know what you like to buy. So I know if you're going to buy a deal and I send it to you right away and you're like, yep, I'll do it at your asking price. So you build these relationships. It makes it easier. No stress when I sell a deal to Zack. And there's a few other people in town when I sell them a deal, there's no stress. But, sell it to other people and you'll be stressing the whole time to make sure it closes and that you get your assignment fee and they're not going to back out. But when you build relationships with real people, it makes this business so much easier. So make sure you're working on your relationships.
Yeah, and it goes down to just being in a place of abundance. When you're in a place of abundance, you want everybody to win, and it goes back to the relationships as well. You want to have great relationships, and by having those great relationships is by being in a place of abundance, wanting everybody to win. Zack could go around you and you try to get that property, but he's going to send it to you in the end of the day because you're going to keep bringing him deals. You make him happy, he's going to keep bringing him deals. Vice versa. If you guys make each other happy, you guys are going to keep bringing deals to each other, and he's going to keep, buying these deals off you. It just all comes down to relationships. And a great book for that is actually How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's an amazing book. That's an amazing book on, just to build those relationships.
Yeah. And
I said something great before about getting outside your comfort zone. And I have a company called Flip Foundation where I teach people how to fix and flip and buy and hold. We're just getting that started. Again, there's a lot of people that talk the stuff, but they're not, they proclaim gurus. I don't even like that word. And there's doers and people that are in the business. I've been in the trenches for 18 years. I'm active in the business. And I always tell my students, this is really important. In order to be comfortable, you got to get uncomfortable, right? In this business, it's not easy stepping outside your comfort zone. It's always easy, staying in your close group of friends, or it's like you're at a bar, or, how do you know a girl's going to go out with you unless you ask her the question? Or how do you know somebody wants to sell unless you knock on the door? You got to get yourself uncomfortable, get outside your normal routine in order to get comfortable in the future. And every time you do something successive, if you're always comfortable, you're not growing as a person. So whether that's in the gym, if you're not breathing hard, if you're not, stimulating your mind with books, if you're not surrounding your people with someone smarter than you, you're just going to remain, sedentary and stagnant. So you always want to surround yourself, get uncomfortable. If you're not feeling uncomfortable, you are not growing. So you're not putting yourself in a level of discomfort.
For the younger people that are in this group, right, it's Millennial Motivate, so there is a lot of younger people that are trying to get into this business or into another business. You will not be able to get deals if you try to stay comfortable. I had to pick up the phone. I'm 16 years old. I sound like a squeaker. My voice still doesn't sound that old, and I'm picking up the phone and trying to buy people's houses, and I'm getting called a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old, and I'm like, I'm 16, come on. But if you're scared to pick up the phone, if you're scared to knock on doors, if you're scared to even leave flyers at doors, then you're not going to get a deal. So you must step out of your comfort zone, and it will be the best thing ever, because it not only for now, but building this skill of learning how to feel okay being uncomfortable will help you throughout life.
Yeah. And I say it like this. The same calluses that we have on our hand is the same calluses that can be built in your head. You want to build that mental calluses to be able to, be able to go without, I always say this to my team every single morning, without pain and discomfort, there's no room for growth. There's no room for growth at all. You need to be able to feel those failures. You're gonna get a lot of no's. You're gonna get a million no's. You're gonna get people telling you look like a kid, that they don't trust you, and you're gonna get all of that. But at the end of the day, that's the pain and discomfort that's needed to, reach success. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people see the overnight success. They see the Rolls Royce, the Lamborghinis, they see all that stuff, but really they don't see all the hard work that they put in. Right, Jacob?
Yep, they don't.
I'm pretty sure for Zach as well. I mean, Zach,
stay humble and stay humble.
Stay humble.
Listen, it's not about people like the fruits of labor. There's nothing wrong with nice material things and fancy earrings and nice suits. It's all beautiful things. But stay humble. Nobody cares about that. They care about how you treat them, how they feel around you, and whatnot. A good quote that I gave to my students today, which is awesome, says, people who avoid failure also avoid success. Right? So you're so worried about failing, you're never going to get success. You're only going to grow. There's no such thing to me as failure, because you're going to learn from every lesson. If you knock on that door and, hey, do you want to sell? They said no. All you did is get more comfortable in the future to knock on that successive door. That no is just closer to your next yes. So don't be fearful. Embrace that to move forward. You will be successful.
100%. I keep failing, and now I'm embracing failure. It used to get me all stressed and upset, but it's all learning. Like, even I'll try a new business venture, and it might cost me a few $1,000s, but if I learn from it and learn about this other business and it fails, big deal. It was learning. It's all learning. I love failing, and that's how it's got to be.
You got to see what you learn from that occasion.
I want to ask you a tough question, Zach. This one's probably going to be tough to answer. So when do you retire? I'm just curious.
I believe there's a quote that says, more people rust out than wear out. So, that leads to the point, like, I could honestly retire right now. It doesn't, I would be bored. I love this business. I love these relationships. I love your energies. I like doing business with good people, and I'm having the time in my life. So to me, it's not necessarily work. Yeah, we're grinding all day. I could be at the gym. People are like, do you work? But they don't realize I'm on the phone doing deals as I'm working out. In this business, again, talk about overcomplicating. I could be on a ship somewhere doing deals literally from my phone. You don't have to overcomplicate. That's the beautiful part of this business if you have good people in place. I have zero plans for retirement. I have plans for massive growth, and of course, giving back to people who want to really learn this game and leave a lasting impact on their lives and their generational wealth and family legacies as well, because it's not an overcomplicated business. You just have to be willing to put in the work. I could give everybody the roadmap, but unless you're willing to put your blood, sweat, and tears in it, it doesn't mean anything.
100%. And I totally agree with that. Like, I'd be so bored when I retire, so I'm always going to work. But I'm just curious about that question because, when someone's receiving all this income from these rentals, right, passive income, like, you'd think that person would be sitting back at the beach most of the time. You know what I mean?
That's boring to me. I mean, it gives me more ammunition and more power to grow my business, impact more people, more charitable work, work with dogs and foundations, and just, again, leave this world a better place is really the end goal. It's not going to be about sitting around sipping martinis at a pool. Yeah. That actually does nothing for me. I like engaging with people, solving problems, and I'm a deal junkie. So, I know a lot of you guys have 20 different businesses. There's enough in this world for me to focus on single family homes, and that's my core competency. That's what I stick to. So I don't want to get, I like to say, I like to stay in my own lane. I don't worry about what anyone else is driving, where they're driving to. I just care about where's my destination, where am I going, and I'm just focused on the safety of my own self, my car, and the people around me. That's it.
Amazing. Yeah, that's really interesting, because, I want to build, I don't want to be, a slave to my work after 50, after 55, 60. I'd like to be able to have the freedom to say, hey, I'm going to work 20% instead of 100%, and that's kind of what you've built. When you do get older, you're able to be free. You could be free now, and that's what's amazing about buying properties and holding, because this wholesale money will get you rich, right? But this wholesale money won't pay you for the rest of your life. And that's what I find so important and interesting about what you do, and why I think everyone needs to watch Zack Kepes and learn from what he's doing, because this is really what changes your life for the rest of it, and for your kids and their kids when you build a portfolio like this. So it's just super, super amazing.
And I also want to mention something, because Zach said, being humble, throughout your journey as well. And you did mention something as well, Jacob, is, a lot of people want to get rich, right? A lot of people want to get rich, but what does rich actually mean to you? Because rich can mean many things to other people. Rich can mean money. Rich can mean, what you drive. But really, for me myself, and I can tell Zach as well, he mentioned charitable work. For me, rich, that means, internal health. That's what I say is rich. Like me, my internal health. Is my family okay? Am I okay with my relationships, which is with my family, my business partners? So that internal health. Would you say that's very important, Zach? Your internal health, rather than the external factors that people seem to glorify, which is the cars and all that stuff.
The answer is no, Leo. I don't feel that is not that important. I feel it is the most important.
Love it.
1000%. I think that, and I say this before, in the foundation for success, and success, just like when you say, well, we talk about money or wealth, right? What is wealth? Wealth starts from health, right? If you don't have your health, you don't have your wealth. That's number one. And I could tell you, and I could show some level of vulnerability. I don't really talk about it this much, but it's important to share and show levels of, again, vulnerability. I'm going to bring you guys back about 7-8 years ago. I'm building my business. I got probably 100 rentals at the time. I'm out there hustling. I got 2 phones. I'm not being present with things. I'm just caring about making money, right? And my dad calls me. It's the middle of the day. Normally we chat once a week. He's in Michigan. And I'm like, hey, I'm looking at property. What's up? He goes, I just need you. I got to talk to you. I'm like, okay. I tell him, hurry up. He says, well, I have something important to tell you. I say, hurry up. I'm looking at a property. I got to go buy this property. Then he proceeds to tell me that he just got diagnosed with cancer. And I kind of drop everything what I'm doing. I'm so worried about checks and paying a roofer and buying this asset. And I'm not even being present with my dad. Tell him to hurry up to tell me that he has just been diagnosed with cancer. That is so fucked up. Then at that, excuse my language, but I was just distraught. And it had a lot of reflections and, thinking about my life, my strategy. So at the end of the day, I would have sold every one of my homes to cure my dad's cancer and start from zero, because I know we can rebuild. Material things come and go, but family and health does not. So the forefront of everything is taking care of your family, taking care of your health, your mental stability. Number one. Anything else can come and go. Everything else is really meaningless, as you can tell. So I recognize it's always important to be present with people when you talk to them. I'm a FaceTime kind of person versus a phone. I like to look people in the eye, get to know them intimately, know about their families. Because again, it's about relationships, it's about slowing down and listening. It's not about the deals will come when you build good strategic relationships. You truly care about people and you give them the time of day, and that's being authentic. So, slow it down, be present, call your families, take care of your health, because that's your foundation. With good health, you can do anything you want. You can build 100%. All the way you want.
Wow, that's amazing, because money comes and goes. You can lose all your money today, but you can rebuild that empire once again. But family, you lose your family, they don't come back. They don't come back, unfortunately. So thank you for sharing that with us, Zach. That's thank you for being vulnerable with us and being able to
be present with your relationship, guys. Business deals can always, when family calls, I don't care what I'm doing. I have a million acquaintances. I have a couple good close friends. I don't need a million great friends. It's important to always give to those friendships. It's hard to have a million friends. And a lot of people, but when people call that I know they're family and tight friends, I don't care what I'm doing. I will drop what I'm doing every morning. I call my dad. I call my mom. I check on them. Everything else is irrelevant, right? Family and health, number one. So to answer your question in the long run, that's your number one. That's my opinion.
And that's why I'm so intrigued by what you do, because, building this portfolio in order to give you checks every month gives you time, which is freedom, right? Time is more valuable than money. I'll take time, right? Money can help you get time, but in order for you to, be able to spend time with your family, you really need that passive income. So then when me and Leo do go on to have a family and have kids, that we're able to be free and we're not, in our business every day for 10 hours, 12 hours a day, because I want to spend time with my kids. I want to see them grow up. I want to throw a football with them and stuff like that. I don't want to always be the guy on the phone doing business deals and the kid going, Dad, 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 right? So that's why, you know, from 20 to 30, I'm going to try to build as big of a portfolio as I possibly can between those 10 years. So then when I do have kids, I can be present 24/7, you know.
But be present now too, Jacob. I don't want to, again, my point is you could still do that. You crush it. You're smart. I know you're working long hours. You can work less hours and just work strategic hours and be smart in the hours you're putting in and the relationships that you're cultivating. But again, respect, like, hey, your dad's a young guy. David's an amazing guy. Your business partner, your family, great people. And Leo, I'm sure the same thing. So be present with the family now. Don't neglect that because there's no guarantee to tomorrow. So make sure that you're still being present with those people that you love today is my point of that conversation before. And reverting back to, again, when we talk about building, you know, big wealth in the passive income, love wholesalers, right? Love you guys, embrace you. But I'm always encouraging you guys, just like I had a brief conversation with Leo before. I'm like, dude, why don't you pick up one of your properties now? Why don't you cherry pick one or two? Because again, you're only as a wholesaler as good as your last deal. You get that check, you're paying taxes, you're paying 40% on it. At what point do you realize, okay, I'm selling to a guy like Zack or another great buyer and they're going to make 10 or 15 or 20%? That's really, you know, again, I respect people's core competencies, whatever works, but why not take, you know, one that's not outside your comfort zone? It could be a carpet and paint, not some $100,000 remodel, but you pick up a newer construction deal that doesn't require a lot and you could, you know, wholesale it or do a little carpet and paint and put it back on the market. I'd like to see you guys take that or buy and hold so that, again, you're not only as good as your last deal, that deal is going to work for you to achieve that passive income. You're going to take that way below market. You can collateralize it, however you're going to fund it. And then now you got that residual income that's important that will give you the time that you're yearning for.
100%. Yeah, we got to take that leap of faith to trying new things. You know, I do some flips, but you know, I want to own a rental here in the near future, hopefully. So we got to take that leap of faith. Also,
quick question, Zack. I'm just curious. You know, you said you have over 200 rental properties. What would you say that that the portfolio is worth at this moment right now?
I mean, I don't sit there. It's like somebody, you know, counting their money every single day. I mean, a ballpark, probably around $70 million portfolio, ballpark. You know, our market and everything is local here in Arizona. I believe in seeing, feeling, and touching it. And our market's been crazy in terms of appreciation, but I don't buy on appreciation. I buy on, you know, what the yields are today in a stagnant market. So all that would be bonus. I'm very conservative. I care more about downside risk than I do about what's called upside potential. So I always factor in a deal when I acquire it. I say, not how much can I make, how much can I potentially lose? And if the market shifts like a pandemic, and I even made videos where people are like, oh my God, the pandemic's here. What are you going to do? I kept buying stronger than ever because I've been through all the cycles before. I didn't just come into real estate with wind at my back. So I understand that as long as you buy the asset right, the money's made on the acquisition. And I said that regardless whether the market's stagnant or no one's out looking at properties due to COVID, I go and rent this out. What is my yield? So I think long-term strategy on every deal. If I can't sell it, what can I make cash on cash today in today's market, excluding any appreciation? And that's how I underwrite, you know, my deals.
100%.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What would you say? So just going back into the pandemic, what would you say the market is shifting towards right now at this current moment right now? Because I know a lot of people are telling me that, you know, there's going to be a lot of notice of defaults coming in. There's going to, you know, the real estate market's going to crash, but who knows? You said you've been in real estate for about 20 years, correct? So you've been in the 2008 recession. What would you say the market is shifting at right now? Or maybe you've seen some previous things that have happened, right, that is occurring right now as well?
I can tell you that, again, if you buy the assets right and you're not over leveraged, with I'm not, and you're not getting, like, for example, hard money. So you can run what's called projections. If you're buying an asset and you're paying 16 or 18% and you're renting it out and you're making 8, clearly that's an inverse relationship. That is not sustainable for long-term capital. If you're borrowing money and you're using, for example, your VA, and thank you again for your service, Leo. I know you were a Marine, which is awesome, and you can get a great rate on something. You can make sense of it to hold long-term. It's going to cash flow. So I believe in what's called strategic leverage, not over leverage. I can tell you that your question is loaded in the sense that I understand the Arizona. I look at the macro markets and I file it into the micro markets. Arizona is a micro market of the domestic, you know, market in the United States. So our market versus California, for example, is much stronger. The cost of a U-Haul, somebody published a study currently right now, to go from California to Arizona is $1,400. The cost of a U-Haul to go from Arizona to California is $140. So we are having a massive influx of people that are tired of the government or tired of the density, we're tired of the pricing and the outskirts and the peripheral markets. So we're getting a big demand. Companies are moving here, tax benefits, New York, higher density markets. So Arizona specifically, which I pay attention to, where 99% of my assets are, our market here is doing very, very well. I'm still cautiously optimistic because I think from a macro perspective, economically, there's a lot of people that are hurting. We haven't, seen the impact of that. There's a lot of stimulus and government money that have helping those people. And of course, there's not been all those people that the forbearances with the properties, the evictions have been, slow. So yes, are we slated to see some more inventory and supply go up in the near future? Yes, but we could certainly absorb it because we have limited inventory in our market right now. So there's very low supply and huge demand. So even if we see an uptick in supply, which we will eventually, it will get absorbed quickly because there's so much demand. We can't fulfill the demand. My rentals are going in a day, with multiple people asking more. So our local market here, great. Your market in California, obviously a different story, but it's important to understand why are the markets trending that way and looking at the equity markets and other markets. People, if you look at, for example, I mentioned I worked in Wall Street before. Even though you're in real estate, you have to understand all the financial markets to really draw a parallel to what's happening, why people would want to put money. Real estate investment trusts, big companies are driving money in real estate because the tangibility, because the projected yields, and the fear of the volatility in the equity markets. When I say equity markets, I mean stocks and bonds. A whisper in a room, or a kid can come out of Harvard and Wharton, your age, make a whisper, oh, this company doesn't look like they're going to hit their earnings, and they lose billions in a market cap. Well, that doesn't necessarily happen in real estate overnight. Sure, it could take time, and we've seen crazy markets. However, there's a lot more comfort in something tangible that you can rent out. It's more sustainable. So more money is being extracted from the equity markets coming into the residential markets, which makes me more comfortable right now. But is there still some level of risk? Of course, because our market should not have gone up as much as they have, which makes me a little nervous. But again, I don't buy in appreciation. So that's really just a benefit. And if you're buying significantly below market, you have a layer of cushioning. If you had to fire sale or liquidate some assets before someone else, you have that ability to do so because you bought the asset well.
Do you see the election causing an effect on our market?
Absolutely. I think the election, depending on who wins the office, there's always unknowns. There's always, external variables that we have no control over, always having impact, but that's always priced into markets, what's projected, no different than, the Federal Reserve and the rates, all those things that we can anticipate or extrapolate from the markets of what's going on. But I could tell you this, don't always listen to the media, right? People say, oh, there's the forbearances, 30% of tenants aren't paying. Well, I believe I have a very good microcosm or a micro sampling of the general population. I have homes that are 200,000, I have homes that are 1 million. And I can tell you that 99% of my tenants are paying or are on payment plans. 1% are in some level of, major stress. So when you hear these numbers of 30% and maybe, some obscure markets, right. Don't always listen to what you see. I've spoken to some multifamily players who are always asking questions and engaging other people to extrapolate data to see what is the relevance of that. I'll take it in consideration, but also know what I'm saying. And I'm saying our ability to persevere as a nation and as tenants, they know that if they don't pay, they're still responsible. They can still get a judgment, and you have to communicate to your tenants and have them understand their responsibilities.
And this is why you look at your deals as a flip and as a hold. So then if something does happen to the market, both ways are good. You could just hold it till the market.
Correct. It's always about contingency planning. Right. If I'm going camping, I like to say in the weather forecast looks like it's perfect, 80 degrees. I'm still going to bring in my rain gear. I'm bringing my snow gear. You want to know why? There's nothing wrong with always being over prepared. I care about contingency.
Then I want to dive into this. Your crews, right? You always keep them busy, your crews. So that's why is that why they're able to complete your projects on a faster time frame? Because like with me, I know they'll tell me it'll take 2 weeks, but it winds up taking a month. So is it because you're keeping these crews always occupied with work that they are able to complete stuff faster for you? Or is it just because they're good crews? Or, what is it that makes you able to...
It's a combination. I always like to say when you have an asset, for example, you're selling me a deal. Clearly, I'm going to go in it before I close, as you know. I always go in every asset. I want to inspect it and see it and review it. As I go in that asset, I can pre-plan and prepare to be proactive in my operational game plan. So most people, they look at the asset, they forget about it, then they close on it, then they invite the crews in there, then they start preparing. It's like if you're going to sign up for a marathon, do you start preparing for the marathon at the start of the marathon, or do you train 6 months before?
Right.
I take that notion of being proactive, during the acquisition process. I have my ability to get in, my due diligence. I walk in there. I know that home is 1,100 square feet, for example, the one you just sold me, and 800 square feet is tile. Guess what? I'm going to order 800 square feet of tile because I don't want there to be a logistical nightmare. I'm going to cut out everything I can to maximize the time that I have to order materials. I'm on Amazon. I'm at Home Depot. I'm already ordering slabs from China of quartz to be proactive so my materials are present. I don't want to be the bottleneck that's going to slow down that remodel. I want to be proactive and have the materials there so that the only thing my crews have to do is show up at the house. I don't even want them going to the store to pick up stuff. I want it delivered so they're doing what they do best, working and being autonomous, and I'm providing everything that they need on the spot. So I say that me being proactive and having good trained crews do the things that are appropriate is what's necessary to streamline the process.
100%. And that it seems I've done, 5, maybe 6 flips in my whole career, right? I mainly do wholesales, and, I'm only 18, haven't done tons of business, right? And every flip I've done, there's always things that pop up that were, like, hidden that just pop up, and that's just part of the game, too. But, like, preparing like that logistically will definitely prevent tons of headaches through the process. So that's huge, for sure.
When you talk about when you're doing deal analytics, it's interesting. Like people just look at, the macro items, the AC, the roof, dual pane windows, kitchen, bath. Okay, it needs 20. I am always, again, a contingent guy. I always know you open up the walls. You got things like electrical. You got bad plumbing. You got bad insulation. You got termites. There's so many things that so many people neglect that you have to, like you said, you got into those 5 flips. I'm sure there's some intervening variables that you never forecasted, but you need to put those in your analytics on your acquisition side so you can appropriately underwrite those deals. And you're learning what those are, those micro details, right?
It's the micro details, 100%. You look at everything big, it's easy, it's going to cost me this much. And then once that stuff's done, right, then it's like, oh, you forgot this, and it starts adding up. But, it's all learning.
Items.
It's all learning.
But you're getting better with every flip. I guarantee in the first flip, and it's all part of the underwriting and in your forecast.
Yep, I did this flip that I just finished. It's on the market right now. Did a lot of things way differently than the previous 4. Way differently.
Yep.
The condo, right, Jacob? It was the condo, right?
To avoid a lot of issues. There was still issues. There seems to always be with flips, but there was a lot less. So that was good. And so, we did a full gut remodel on it, which was like, normally I try to save stuff, but I kind of followed what Zack does. I ordered a bunch off Amazon, full gut remodel, everything new. And, it took a month or like 3 weeks, almost a month, and it's on the market. So a little bit longer, but, it's a solid product at the end of the day.
Amazing. I have a question for you, Zack. So our goals never stop. Like we're always going to have goals, correct? What would you say is your 5-year goal and your 10-year goal for Zack? Like, what does that look like for you?
Hitting it with the tough questions. The tough questions.
Bring it all. These are, like I said at the beginning, just bring it. I like it. My bankers asked the same thing. I would love to double my portfolio. I said that in 7 years. I'd like to have 400 plus doors. And we're rolling. So that's a huge goal. Goals continue to maintain the health. But I'd say my largest goal right now is really to have the biggest impact on a lot of my mentors and students and really help them achieve their financial goals and mental, physical, spiritual. And a lot of it, as we know, is mindset, right? Waking up, being that optimistic person, getting fit, getting healthy, and just, passing on that positive energy and that those connections, those relationships.
That's kind of why we started this, because, we're not at the highest level yet, but we want to bring these people along with us on our journey so they can learn with us, right? And also, if they haven't started yet, they can learn from the people that are young how to start, and then watch our failures, our mistakes, our successful moments, our winning moments as we go, and it would be great. That's why we created this group, because it's kind of like you're watching the journey. It's like a movie that's live, and you're here with us.
And it's real. It's real. There's a lot of people that say all this junk, but a much level of respect for you guys. I mean, I don't want to say that you're lucky. You're extremely intelligent. You guys are hardworking guys, but you've created luck. You've created a great business, and
you created our own luck.
Exactly. Part of this is luck, right place, right time, right
100%.
And so
you got to create your luck. You got to be going every day, nonstop till it happens, and you're going to be creating luck the whole time. And you just got to keep going. And a good place is to be in this group, to watch us press every day for success and join us on this journey. And you guys are posting your checks and your wins, and I'm just so excited for you guys too. So it's just awesome. And we're going to bring tons of guests like Zack on here that are really successful in real estate, and it's just great. So yeah, and I love
Make sure to follow Zack. Make sure to follow Zack on Instagram. You have any type of social media, Zack?
Instagram.
Yeah, it's under ZAK Ventures is my Instagram. I also have a YouTube under Zack Ventures. I use the hashtag trash to cash. I like to say I'm buying trash, turning it into cash. You always want to be authentic to yourself. So check that out. I got a lot of free content on my YouTube and my Instagram. You can check out the Flip Foundation page for people that are looking for a long-term mentor that's in the game. So you can check that out. But there's tons of great free content out there, guys. If you're just getting started and watching these guys and learning from these hustlers, it's not rocket science, right? There's a lot of people with the right roadmaps, but truly you want to find someone, if you're investigating coaching or mentorships or anything else, you always want to underwrite the people, no different than a house. See if they're active in the business. What's their career? Can you speak to the other students? Get some testimonials. Right. No different than anything else. I like to say I'm the coach's coach. I get all these people that claim to be coaches, and they're coaches, and they have different people, yet they're calling me for advice all the time. I find it comical. I'm not going to name any names. I don't believe in bad-mouthing anybody. But listen, everybody needs a coach or a mentor to a certain degree. I also believe in this. I believe, and we talked about this before, we talk about luck. I believe in karma, right? If you treat people, and I'm going to revert this, and things that people can extrapolate and retain from these conversations, it's not rocket science. You treat people well, you treat them like family, you're good to people, you have good karma, and that stuff comes around. So if you're giving in that giving mentality and you're that positive person, and even if you don't win that deal, but you solve someone's issue, I promise you that they're going to refer you to somebody, you're going to do a deal. The money will always follow. If you're just good karma, good people, giving good solutions, good things will happen after that. I promise you.
Guys, share this live real quick. Let's get a bunch more people in here, and then we'll start asking. You guys can start asking questions for Zack here in a minute. So share the live right now. Let's get some more people in here. But yeah, the relationships, my relationship with you, Zack, this year was worth 6 figures. I made over $100,000 just from you in assignment fees. So, the money comes with these relationships. And, I didn't have many buyers when I first met Zack, and he was a solid buyer, and it really helped me sell my deals. I could have had to cancel on many deals if it wasn't for him. So it's been great. I actually sold Zack my first deal, and I made a $30,000 assignment fee. So he paid a 17-year-old $30,000 on his first deal, and there's
videos of shaking hands in your bus or something on the first. I'll always remember that. And another thing too, out of respect, right? Like I can't get emotional over Wendy. I'll value the relationship over. So a lot of times what I'll do, and I'll tell Jacob, and you can attest to this, is Jacob, here's my number. If you can get more, and there's times he's like, hey, I got a buyer at 135. I'm like, no worries. I think you should take that deal, right? I'm not a greedy person, but I'll say, here's my number. If they don't perform, you can always count on me. We had that situation a couple times. Somebody committed to a deal 135 and said, sell them the deal. No hard feelings. They committed to it. It's a fair shake. Move forward. But guess what? You always have me behind you for stability. And I don't mind that. It's always important if you're working with a wholesaler, guys like this, to give a number. It may not be the number that they're looking for. If it's a great deal, of course, pay the full price. Always. But if it's not, give them a number and give them an opportunity. Say, here's 24 hours. If you don't do better, then my offer is good for 24 hours. And it gives them an opportunity to maximize that deal out of respect for them. And they can always have a fallback plan on you.
And, sometimes when everyone's trying to get the deal, like I'm getting calls nonstop, and I text Zack the deal and he doesn't answer. He's like at the gym or something. I call him a bunch because I want him to get a shot at it too, because he's a great buyer. I'm like, clearly this deal is good. So please look at it right now.
Right. I love that. And you always want to give, you got your A-list of buyers. You always want to give them kind of the first shot, which I respect and I appreciate that always. Yeah.
So Zack, where can people bring you some deals?
I buy in Arizona. Yeah, so my buy boxes, I buy 3-bed, 2 baths, 2 2s, 2 1s. Right now, I've expanded because the market, the demand is crazy. So anything in Maricopa County, I'll buy in a 7,500-mile radius. I'll buy raw land, infill lots, multifamily opportunities, apartments. My core competency, single-family homes, townhomes, and condos. No price point. As long as there's meat on the bone and we can both make money, send me your deals. You know,
where can they send you the deals?
Yep, send it to me. You can reach out to me on Instagram at the Zack Ventures, Trash to Cat, hashtag Trash to Cash, or ZAK Ventures, or that's the best way. My email is zkeeps@gmail.com, and just say that you were on this podcast. You can mention Millennial Motivate in the subject matter, because I get a lot of junk mail, so that will authenticate who you are, because I'll respect you by patronizing my boys over here. Put Millennial Motivate, wholesaler or buying opportunity that will captivate my attention. I will make sure to open it. If I don't open it, you call me out immediately, and I will make sure to underwrite your deal. So I appreciate all the opportunity.
Awesome. So you got any tips for us, me and Leo, on flips and buying? Give us some tips, because the people in the group can learn from
really for everybody. Really for everybody.
Really for everybody.
What are your tips?
I want some of your key tips.
Key tips. Obviously, build strategic relationships with guys like these, or if you're already a wholesaler, I always recommend, cherry picking, right? You're already there. You're face to face. You have that contract direct with the seller. Why not take the leap of faith and do one? Start with one, not a crazy project. I always like to start within your core competency or slightly outside of it, so that you're comfortable. I don't want to see you take on some, complete rebuild or some $200,000, 6-month, 9-month construction project. Do a carpet paint, maybe a little kitchen remodel, stay in your core competency with low downside risk. So again, don't get too big for your britches. You get some success, you flip a couple deals, and then go out and buy a 100-unit apartment building with crazy leverage that you can't afford. Start small. Remember, guys, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and be patient. If you're in this business, and just like Leo took 8 months to get his first deal, and then he's off and rolling, I believe things come when it rains, it pours, right? When you get a deal, that momentum breeds more deals and success, and you talk about it. But don't give up. It's like, you have to have realistic expectations. People think they see other people. Here's 2 young guys just making 7 figures or big 6 figures. Oh, why aren't I making this money? Remember, it's like going to the gym. You don't just show up once a week and think you're going to get a 6-pack and ripped and you're eating, poorly. You have to stay the course. You got to put in the time. If you're going to go 6 days a week, you're not seeing results, then what's wrong? You're not eating properly. You're not drinking enough water. So the only person to blame is yourself. Put in the time. Create good, positive relationships. Stay the course. Again, marathon mentality, not sprint.
Yeah.
And
I really like one of the things you said, that about us making big 6 figures, 7 figures, right? People think it's impossible, or that this is fake or something, or that they can't do it. Me and Leo, we're human. We're just like you. We're just like everybody else. We just worked hard. We created our luck, right? And we figured it out. We're no different than anybody else. I just got kind of big on TikTok. It's blowing up. I'm getting a lot of views on TikTok. And there's a lot of younger people, so I'm getting all these comments. It's a scam. He's fake, blah, 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 blah. But no, I'm just like you. You can do this. So that I really like that.
Don't let those people get to you. I mean, that same thing when you show vulnerability, right? You got to get uncomfortable, you get comfortable. Right. Even with my coaching platform, I've kept my head down. I don't show all these houses. I don't show, Lamborghinis and stuff. That doesn't mean I'm not successful. And there's always people, you're not real. Last time you did a deal, you don't even waste your time to respond to hate. I'm talking about building this barrier to deflecting that. Those people that are haters, they're just jealous of your actions. So disregard, don't even take your time to respond. They're not even worthy of the time. Focus on people that uplift you and, help you grow your business and help achieve your goals, and surround yourself with those positive people for that reinforcement. Give no attention. There's always going to be haters and people and disbelievers. But keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing great.
100%. That's amazing. So, yeah. You guys got any questions for Zack? And then we'll get this wrapped up here pretty soon.
Yeah, let's get some questions, guys. Let's see.
Leo, I have one quick question while you're waiting for the group to respond. You talked about, I know you're a big Marine guy. What's your workout routine? What's your mindset? I know you're crushing.
I love that you asked that. I love that you asked that, Zack. So for me, myself, I'm all about abundance, right? I'm all about, just being abundant. And I'm all about, my health, my fitness. And that's something that's very important for me, is my health, my fitness. And, my workout routine is, I'm actually a boxer as well. So I'm actually going to be fighting professional in Costa Rica in November. I actually have one pro fight that I fought when I was 16 years old before I went into the Marines. So I'm getting back in the ring. And for me, myself, boxing is a test of your will. It's a test of your will, and it's a test of your character, because, a lot of guys, they quit. A lot of guys quit in, basic things in life that happen. But I truly believe in the ring, the boxing ring. When you get in that ring, it's a test of your character. It's a test of your heart. how far are you willing to go in that ring while another person is trying to take your head off? So for me, myself, I always go back to, me growing up poor and growing up, with nothing to my name. And I always go back, you know what? I went through those times, me being poor and not having anything to my name. Then if I'm going to be in a ring and another guy is trying to take my head off, then that's nothing to me. That's nothing to me. All I got to do is have the heart, because I know I may not, I know if I put the hours in the gym and I put in the blood, sweat, and tears in the gym, I know that there should be no problem for me. The fight is won in the gym rather than, the outside, which is, in the stadium where wherever you're fighting at. So for me, myself, my routine is, boxing. I love boxing. I love meditating. I love journaling my day. So throughout my day, I love journaling what I've done, what I've accomplished. I would say one thing though that is really my downfall is my eating habits. I love McDonald's. I love In-N-Out. I love the fast food. I'm not gonna lie about that, because I do love the unhealthy stuff. But for me myself, I can say this: there's no man, or there's nobody on earth that can beat Leo, because me myself, just like David Goggins says, the only person that can beat you is the man in front of the mirror. So I always say this: yes, like going back to what Jacob said, there's gonna be the haters, the scammers. There's gonna be people that are going to want to stomp on your success. But in the end of the day, it's what you truly feel down right here. And I don't know if anybody's religious here, but I'm truly religious. My Lord and Savior God, Jesus Christ. That's something that I'm very passionate about. And if I have Him in my corner, then I'm winning anybody. I'm winning anything that comes my way. So being homeless, being a boxer, being in anything in life, nothing can beat me.
When's your fight? November?
Costa Rica, November 15th.
This November?
This November in Costa Rica.
My uncle lives in Costa Rica. I might go watch.
That's amazing.
That's fun.
That's
amazing. Broadcast. I love it. Great answer, Leo. Very, very inspirational. I love it. Jacob, I'm going to pose the question to you too. What is your philosophy in terms of how do you set the tone for the day? You working out. I know you were trying to build some bulk. When I first met you, it looked like you put on 10, 15 pounds. I don't know if that's just the cash in your pockets or your suit, or is that actual muscle and solid protein?
So with me, working out's very important. And I've been heavy in the gym for 4 years every day. Till this year, I'm so busy that sometimes it slacks. I try to get the gym in at least 3 times a week. I'm trying to gain weight, get bigger. I'm just a skinny kid. But the gym is so important for my mind, and that's really how I defeat all the stress and turn the switch off for the day. Like, that's how I can turn off go mode for an hour and actually be present and just clear-minded. And the gym's so important to me. And so that's another thing. Time's so much more important than money, because you need time in order to be healthy and in order to work out every day. And so that's very important. So how do I start my day though? There's no I don't take a walk or anything. And I work out in the evenings. So I just get up, shower, go to work, and then I kind of do my self-care type stuff, working out, stuff like that, relaxing in the evenings, and to be clear-minded and journaling and like that. And so that's awesome that you said something about journaling too, because I took off in this business, I feel like, from manifesting all of this in my notebook. And this notebook to me is the most special item I have, because it tells my journey, right? I read through it. I have tons of notes about stuff I did wrong in this business, stuff I thought would work and didn't work, notes I got from certain people on YouTube that just don't work. This is a bad way, all this. And it's just like, wow. I went through all these trials and tribulations of trying this, trying that, and failing and it just not working, to being able to get deals consistently on a monthly basis. And so it's awesome. Did you have a notebook like that, Leo, when you first started, where you plotted everything out?
I remember a lot of people, like my family, my friends, my so-called friends, they didn't believe in me. And when I was homeless in my car, I used to always write down like what I was going to be like. And I always say it like this, guys: it's not the money you have in your bank account. Like I said, being rich is not money. Being rich is internal health. So I used to always tell myself, yeah, I am broke, externally in my bank account, but internally I'm not broke, because I'm worth $1 billion, even if I don't even have $1 billion in my bank account. So I used to always journal every single day. This is a fun fact. I always used to write in my journal, I'm worth $1 billion every single day. Every single day.
I love
Every
that.
day.
That's great.
You have to do that.
Funny, you can always get in these discussions of, oh, this guy's successful. Well, success is all relative. Like I can view somebody that's, living their happiest life and they're, a school teacher making $30,000 a year, which I love. And I say that they're more successful than me because they're impacting the future of students and doing what they love and giving back. So success is all relative. It's not about money. It's about doing what makes you happy, the autonomy, giving back. There's so many different factors. Everyone's got the operational definition of success. But you saying that you're worth $1 billion, I freaking love that. I think that should be like the mantra. People wake up and say, I'm already worth $1 billion because I'm here. I got my health. Nothing else really matters, because it truly doesn't.
That's amazing. And everyone has their own version of success, 100%. And that's really important to define. What is your version of success? And that will help you become successful, because you'll know. You got to visualize every detail of it. And another thing about the journal is I have a whole page, a page front and back of goals for 2020. And I wrote them super big. And I go through it, and, I missed 6 of them. But 5 of them I hit, and it's just awesome to look back and just manifest that stuff. I love writing it down on paper. It's my magical notebook. The stuff I put in there comes true, or I get closer to getting to the level I want to be. And so I love notebooks. So if you don't have one and you're just starting your journey, it's huge. It's huge.
I think another thing too, which is important, guys, about like I see your relationship together and other people to surround your network is your net worth. And there's a word that I think is very important in this business, which is accountability. I think once you write something down, you talk about manifesting it, you see it, feel it, you believe it. When you write it down, you're closer to literally like visualizing it. You see, you can go through in your head, or you tell your closest friends, guys, I want to do 20 deals this month, or whatever that number is. But once you project it out there and you have people that care about you, those are the same people that are elevating you. For example, I work out with my buddy Tim, and I'm like, hey, we're doing a 75-day challenge. I challenge my students as well. You put that stuff out there, now you're committed, right? Because you've told somebody about it, you're journaling it, you're seeing it, you have to cross it off. There's something about going through those, notions, going through that time frame, and then executing. So it's about kind of, again, getting uncomfortable, accountability, having people that support your journey, and in return, support theirs. Hey, what's your goal? You want to read 10 books? You call them up when you speak to your friend. Did you read your book today? Did you do your exercise? I tell my dad, did you walk today? Fun. It doesn't have to, everyone's goals are different and accountability is different for different people, but surround yourself with people that will help you on your accountability, because that will just push you to the next level. It's easy again. If you work out by yourself or you work out together, I promise you that if you're working out with a friend that's going to push you, you're going to have a much better workout. Yeah. You're boxing by yourself, Leo, or you have your trainer who's your accountability partner. They're going to get you to win that. You're going to win the fight because you're already worth $1 billion, and mentally you're going to rock and roll. But your trainer is going to elevate your game for sure.
100%. So that's amazing, because I know if anyone works out that's watching this, that when you go to the gym with someone else, and not just by yourself, you work harder. You put in the work times 2, So you can apply that to this business too. And so that's amazing. And I like what you said about telling someone your goals and writing them down, right? It becomes a tangible item, right? You can see it, you can feel it, right? But also telling your friends what you're going to do. I have friends that are so proud of what I've done, a handful of friends, because when I was, 13, 14, 15, I was telling them I'm going to be successful, I'm going to do something crazy, and it's just going to be mind-blowing. I'm going to take off in some business, whatever it is. I'm going to do this before I have to go to college, something big, and they're just congratulating me and stuff. So 100% be telling your friends, I'm going to do something, even if you haven't done anything and you have no idea what you're going to do, right? You need to instill that you're going to be successful, and that's what you need to do.
Exactly. So do you want to end off with some questions then, Jacob?
Someone said in here, hey guys, here's a question. I'm 16 and I'm willing to take action as soon as I can get into the real estate game. Due to Corona, taking action feels complicated. So, number one, you can't let coronavirus stop you from taking action. And coronavirus has not prevented us from doing deals, right, Leo? If anything, we've been doing more deals. Maybe in the beginning, it stopped us from doing deals. But actually, during this time when everyone's at home or you have more free time, whatever the case may be, Jason, this is your best time to start learning this business, right? You have more time to watch YouTube. You have more time to buy a course and watch the whole thing. You have more time to pick up the phone and call sellers. So this is a great time to start, 100%. What do you think about that?
1,000% agree with you. Yeah, a plethora of opportunities. You don't even have to interface belly to belly with people. They could drive neighborhoods. They could look at values. They could call agents. They could be very proactive. There's a tremendous amount of free materials out there from very good people that are actively doing stuff. I know you guys make videos, and hopefully they're watching your own YouTubes and videos, because it's all informational and it's real tangible things that people can extrapolate, wins and losses like you talk about, which I think is really important. So many people just talk about their successes. I think it's very important for people to show the failures so that, again, true followers can see, guess what, I don't want to make that same mistake as well.
First phone call me and Leo had, we said we want to be real. That's what we want to do. Half these people aren't showing the real stuff. We want to show the failures because it's easier to learn from it, right? It makes it more stressful for us when we're coming up trying to become successful in this, that we're not seeing anyone fail. And then when we're failing, we're like, oh my God, what's wrong with us? What's wrong with my business? But realistically, those people that aren't showing any of the failures, they're having failures too. Someone asked Zach, how much did you make on your first flip? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think I made $15,000 first flip. I bought a house in South Phoenix in a tough neighborhood. It was on Rozier. I remember I walked in there. There were some bums that broke into the house. I'm like, oh my God, I own this house. Get out of here, And with the learning experience, I got blessed that, I made some money on it. And every single deal, just like you said, you did your flip yourself. And every single deal you get better and streamline it, and you can cut what's called your cost of goods sold. You learn from every single deal. And I was slightly lucky that, I won on that or made money, it was profitable. But more importantly is I extrapolated knowledge from that so I could be better on each successive deal. No different than waking up every day. You want to be better than yesterday. Same thing with your flips. You're going to acquire knowledge and more information to, again, increase your yield on that deal, be a better remodeler, have better relationships with crews. So again, each successive deal will get easier as you proceed in your career.
And guys, you can definitely start doing this business because Taif, he's in your Flip Foundation, right? So he had COVID-19. Him and his family had the coronavirus, and he actually was able to close a deal while sick. So, you can be sick with the actual virus and still do deals. So it's not preventing you from making it happen.
Type is a microcosm. I'm going to, pump him up for a second. He comes from Iraq, and, his English is, I wouldn't say it's the greatest, but man, his heart is the biggest I've ever seen. He's a giver. He shows up. He's probably watching this live right now. He shows up to every opportunity. He's constantly extrapolating. He's a sponge of information. He's got VAs. He's calling. He's building relationships. He's got his own accountability measures. That guy embodies everything that people should do. He's a microcosm of success. That guy.
He went out on a whim. He took a leap of faith and quit his job at Walmart. He was a manager at Walmart, and he said, I'm done with this. I want to do wholesaling. And, he's making it happen,
Absolutely.
And I'm excited for him. It's exciting. So, and his English is not 100, right? And he's still doing deals. So,
exactly.
Nothing can stop you from doing deals, and that's amazing. So, book recommendations. You got any, Zach? I'd like to hear from you. Any good books?
So funny. Everyone always asks me these book recommendations. I'm an advocate. I don't want to knock. I think books are great. I'm an advocate for rolling up your sleeves and doing deals and learning. No different than I tell you, I don't think your route of not going to college, right, is the wrong route. In fact, I admire it. I think it's great. If I could have started earlier in real estate knowing what I know now, I would probably start, wholesaling and buying deals at 17, 18 myself. Yep. I'm just an advocate for, I'm just a doer. I'm slightly impatient, so I'm not a huge book advocate. But I'm one to roll up sleeves, and I learn by doing things. So I'm not afraid of confrontation, talking to people, getting in the field and getting dirty and getting my fingernails, greased up. 100%. So that's just what I do. One book, for example, I'll say this. There's a simple book, and it's basic. It's called, and it's more my style and probably Leo's style. It's about 50 pages with big writing. It's Who Moved My Cheese?
I love that book.
And so the whole point is it's like you constantly have to adapt and pivot. Nothing's ever the same. And so the lessons are just phenomenal. It's just, again, it's a microcosm of what's going on in society. You always have to constantly stay on your fingertips, adapt, pivot. If something moves, something obstacle in front of you, guess what? You figure it out and you keep persevering. It's like in an Ironman race, all of a sudden you're dehydrated or you're cramped up. It doesn't mean that that's going to last forever. Just like in boxing, I know that I'm going to persevere. That's why I do these crazy races to test myself mentally. And you got to keep going. 1 second you're ready to throw up and vomit, you're dehydrated, and then 20 minutes later you're feeling like $1,000,000. It's a volatile mood swing, but as long as you keep that mindset and keep moving forward, no different in real estate, you will persevere.
Yeah,
exactly. Let me mention one book before we end it.
Me too.
Another book as well, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Let me tell you why that's an amazing book. So that book alone, it talks about the mentality, just like I said, the mental calluses that you need in your head, the same that you have in your hand, build that mental calluses. And it's basically, instead of, blaming the world for all your problems, David Goggins says is look in front of the mirror, the accountability mirror, and tell yourself why you're fat. There's a reason why you're fat. You're either unhealthy and you don't work out, right? Why you suck at math? Go, learn about math. Go be a doer. Go actually roll up the sleeves and make stuff happen. So I think Can't Hurt Me will be an amazing book just to teach you about that mental calluses to, building your head. It's an amazing book.
The first like self-help book I ever read was Alex Sainz got me to read it, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It's a great book. But I wanted to talk about this book because you know how you wrote, I'm a billionaire in your notebook, I'm a billionaire? Well, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind tells you got to act like you're a millionaire already. Do the things a millionaire does, and you will become a millionaire, even if you're not one. So that's a great book about carrying yourself a certain way to be able to get to where you want to be.
I'm going to say this just to, add on to that. I believe, and I convey to my students, you have to put yourself in a position to win the game. So I want you not only to value, again, the buck stops at you. You look in the mirror, you're your own accountability person and take responsibility for your actions. But if you look around your friends and the people that are, maybe dragging you down, you need to put yourself in a better position to win the game. Again, if you're trying to raise private money or you're looking for buyers and you're surrounded by what I call losers and people that are, doing drugs or negative an influence on you, then guess what? Get outside that zone, find the people that will elevate your game. If you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you're the wealthiest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you're raising capital and you're going to a $9 a month gym and you need to meet high affluent people, guess what? Suck it up and go to a gym, show up every day and rub shoulders with the type of people that are going to influence you. So put yourself in a position to win the game. Get uncomfortable.
Jason said, I've been surrounded with people that are stuck in the rat race. I'm looking to surround myself with people like yourself that are like successful, whatever. And how can I start to surround myself with people like this? Well, if you want to get into real estate, the best places to go are real estate meetups. And you can't just be the guy sitting there listening to the presentation. You need to be the guy getting up, talking to whoever it is, talking to the guy that the most people are talking to, right? Zack Kepes goes to a real estate disruptors meetup. There's tons of people talking to him, right? So what should you do? You should get up and you should go talk to Zack, right? You need to dive in, get uncomfortable, and talk to people. Really.
Let me give an example. So Jason, let me give you an example. When I started in real estate, I didn't have anybody that was in real estate. I was just like Zack said, if you're surrounded around drugs, I was surrounded around people that were around drugs and, criminals and, gang members and all this stuff. I was, surrounded around that, unfortunately. So you know what I did, not knowing anything about real estate? I walked up to a real estate company, not knowing anything. I dropped out of college. I was in college for 1 month. I left college and I walked out of, in my midterms. During my midterms, I walked out and I looked up on my phone, what's the number one real estate company? I searched up a real estate company. I searched up Keller Williams. I walked up there and I said, I want to learn from the number one person here. I don't even want to get paid for the next year. That's exactly what I said. I said, I don't want to get paid for the next year. Feed me the knowledge and that's all I need. I'll be here from the morning till nighttime every single day. And that's what you have to do. Don't be afraid to chase that, to go up to someone and you provide value. Stop hitting people up on Instagram and asking them for free stuff. Ask them, how can you provide them value? And you'll sell, which is up.
Have that giving mentality. Exactly. I love that. And also I agree with both your assessments are spot. I love that. I'm going to show up. I don't want anything. I just want to help you out. I'll bring you coffee. I'll drive you to appointments. I just want to be a sponge. Surround yourself with winners. And then again, like Jacob says, show up at these events. talk to people, and then always ask the question, hey, when can I take you to lunch? When can I buy you a coffee? When are you free? If you don't ask the question, you're never going to receive. I got people hitting me up all the time and say, how much should I pay for this? How much should I pay for this? Great. Versus, hey, Zach, when can I show up at your flip? And by the way, I'm gonna bring you a faucet, or hey, I'm a painter. I want to show you some cool paint ideas for something. And then by the way, I have a couple questions for you. Cool. They come with that mindset of giving, maybe a compliment. Don't just try and extrapolate from every relationship. It's going to take you so far. You always want to think about a two-way street versus a unilateral relationship where the only person benefiting is you.
You got to bring some value to get some value. And the first message I get from people most of the time is not, hey, let me come do this and so I can learn from you, right? Give to get, right? And that's the whole thing, right?
You must
and
become a student.
I like that even better. That is so equal to, showing up at these events, right? You show up at these events, you meet these people, right? But then you tell them, hey, I'll do this, right? To learn, right? You want to give. 100%.
I believe in my heart, and I know this for a fact, that you want to get in real estate, but maybe the gentleman who posed the question is an amazing photographer, or they're a video guy. I know Jacob comes from a video background. You say to them, listen, I want to video your stuff for you for free. In return, I want to look at it. So think about what your assets are, whether it's real estate, accounting. Everyone is an asset at some level, and they're good at it. Whether they're an artist, a reader, they have a book, whatever it is, bring something to the table of value, like you guys say, in return, and you will get plenty of stuff.
100%.
Exactly. You must be the student.
And so that's good too. Go get a skill, guys. Get a skill so you have something to trade. Right. Everyone, go be good at something, because you are good, and you can be good at anything, right? And so whatever your best skill is, try to use that in order to learn what you want to learn next, right? And so I love
something so fundamental. One of my students, she made the greatest, this health, I'm a health freak. She made this fat-free coconut oil granola mix. She goes, hey, I love what you're doing. Can I just drop off something for you? I'm like, sure, why not? She brings over the stuff every single time I eat. She brought a big container. Every time I bite in that, I thought about this student, how sweet she was. And in return, I helped her get her first deal by dropping off, a $10 box of homemade granola. I mean, it's just a mindset. So think about who you're talking to. How is it relevant? And big deal. She made a big thing of granola, but it's a big deal because then you're constantly thinking about it. It doesn't have to be something thousands of dollars. It's just the thought process, right? How are you differentiating yourself from everybody else?
Right. Exactly. Get stuck in their mind, right? Do something that makes them think of you, so then they want to help you more. Like Taif really, I met him at the first All-In free event, and he just was so outgoing that he built a relationship with me. I invited him to my office. I helped him get his first list, all this stuff. And, I'm just excited to watch him get his first deal. So you got to be outgoing like that. And that's really how you will exceed. So you guys want to wrap this up? Anything else?
Thank you so much, Zach, for, coming on here and, you're even taking the time to be able to do this for us. A lot of us in this group chat are, young, and, we want to be able to learn as much as we can and just, be a sponge of life. That's what I say. You got to be a sponge of life. You got to just learn as much as you can because the failures are going to make it. But thank you so much for providing the value that you did today.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you for your platform. I love what you guys are doing. I mean, you're impacting thousands of people's lives, probably millions during your career, which is great. So keep up the good work. Keep moving forward. Every day is a new day, new opportunities. Keep watering and planting the seeds on your farms, and you will all persevere. Good luck on your fight, Jacob. Keep rocking and rolling. You guys are both doing great things. I look forward to our long-term relationships even getting better. And grateful for the opportunity. And anyone that has any questions as part of your community, I'm happy to help anytime. So collaboration over competition and value in these great relationships. So keep on trucking and let's get rocking.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thank you, Zach. Go follow Zach on Instagram at Zack Ventures on Instagram. Go follow him. Reach out to him. Sell him your deals. He will help you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good night.
Thank you.
God bless you all. Take care, guys. Be safe. Thanks.